The night sky stretched endlessly above the Atacama Desert, a tapestry of stars twinkling against the inky blackness. In the heart of this arid landscape stood the Alma Observatory, its massive radio telescopes pointing skyward like silent sentinels. Inside, hunched over a computer screen, sat Zara Rodriguez, her dark eyes reflecting the eerie glow of the monitor. Zara, a 28-year-old astronomer with a mop of unruly curls and a penchant for oversized sweaters, had always been drawn to the mysteries of the cosmos. Tonight, as she sifted through the usual cosmic static, something caught her attention. A pattern, faint but unmistakable, pulsed through the noise. "What in the name of Sagan?" Zara muttered, her fingers flying over the keyboard as she isolated the signal. Her heart raced as she realized this was no ordinary astronomical phenomenon. The pattern was too regular, too precise to be natural. As the hours ticked by, Zora's excitement grew. She barely noticed the sun peeking over the horizon, painting the desert in hues of gold and pink. Her colleagues began trickling in, casting curious glances at the disheveled astronomer, who hadn't moved from her spot all night. "Guys, you've got to see this," Zara called out, her voice a mix of exhilaration and disbelief. As her team gathered around, she explained her discovery, her hands gesticulating wildly. "It's not random noise. It's a message." Dr. Hernandez, the head of the observatory, peered at the screen over his thick-rimmed glasses. "Are you sure, Zara? This could be a glitch in the system." Zara shook her head vehemently. "No way, Doc. I've run every test I can think of. This is real." As the team huddled around the computer, the atmosphere in the room shifted from skepticism to awe. The signal, now clearly visible on the screen, pulsed with an otherworldly rhythm. "Holy guacamole," Zara breathed, her eyes wide. "We've just made first contact." The next few hours were a blur of activity. News of the discovery spread like wildfire through the scientific community. Zara found herself at the center of a media storm, her phone ringing off the hook with calls from journalists and government officials. As the day wore on, Zara retreated to the quiet of the observatory's roof. She gazed up at the sky, now a brilliant blue, and tried to process the magnitude of her discovery. A nervous laugh escaped her lips. "Hey, E.T., she said to the empty air. "I hope you come in peace. We're fresh out of Reese's Pieces." Back in the lab, Zara and her team worked tirelessly to decode the message. Days blended into nights as they pored over the data, fueled by an endless supply of coffee and the thrill of discovery. It was on the 5th day that they had a breakthrough. Zara, her hair a wild mess and dark circles under her eyes, let out a whoop of triumph that echoed through the observatory. "We've cracked it," she yelled, drawing her colleagues to her side. "It's coordinates. They're giving us their location." As the team verified her findings, a hush fell over the room. The implications were staggering. Not only had they received a message from an alien civilization, but they were being invited to make contact. Zara leaned back in her chair, a hysterical giggle bubbling up in her throat. "Well, folks," she said, her voice tinged with equal parts excitement and terror, "looks like we're going to need a bigger boat." The news of the decoded message spread rapidly. Within hours, Zara found herself on a video call with the United Nations Security Council, explaining her discovery to a panel of stern-faced world leaders. "Ms. Rodriguez," a gruff voice cut through the chatter. "Are you absolutely certain about this?" Zara took a deep breath, pushing down the butterflies in her stomach. "Yes, sir. The message is clear. They want to meet us." The silence that followed was deafening. Zara could almost hear the gears turning in the minds of the most powerful people on Earth. Finally, a woman with a crisp British accent spoke up. "Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Your country and indeed the world owe you a great debt. We'll take it from here." As the call ended, Zara slumped in her chair, the weight of the situation finally hitting her. She had just changed the course of human history. A hysterical laugh bubbled up in her throat. "Mom always said I'd make a name for myself," she muttered to the empty room. Bet she didn't expect it to be the girl who found the aliens. Over the next few days, the world held its breath. Governments scrambled to formulate a response, while the public oscillated between excitement and fear. Zara found herself thrust into the spotlight, her face plastered across every news channel and social media platform. Despite the chaos, Zora couldn't shake the feeling of wonder that had gripped her since that fateful night. As she stood on the observatory roof, gazing up at the stars, she felt a connection to the vastness of space that she had never experienced before. "We're not alone," she whispered to the night sky. "And soon, we'll meet our cosmic neighbors." Little did Zara know that her discovery was just the beginning. As humanity prepared for its first extraterrestrial encounter, forces beyond their comprehension were already in motion. The Galactic Council's secret fleet, hidden from human eyes for millennia, was about to reveal itself. And Zara Rodriguez, the curious young astronomer from the Atacama Desert, would find herself at the center of a story that would reshape the very fabric of human existence. As she turned to head back inside, a shooting star streaked across the sky. Zara smiled, making a silent wish. Whatever lay ahead, she knew one thing for certain. The universe would never look the same again. The United Nations headquarters in New York City buzzed with an intensity unlike any in recent memory. World leaders, typically separated by oceans and ideologies, now sat shoulder to shoulder in the General Assembly Hall. The air was thick with tension, punctuated by hushed whispers and nervous glances. At the podium stood Admiral Chen Wei, a stern-faced man with salt and pepper hair and eyes that had seen more than most could imagine. His crisp naval uniform, adorned with medals, seemed to gleam under the harsh lights. As he cleared his throat, the room fell into an uneasy silence. "Distinguished leaders," Admiral Chen began, his voice steady but grave. "What I'm about to present to you will change the course of human history." He paused, allowing the weight of his words to sink in. "We are not alone in the universe, and we are woefully unprepared for what's coming." A collective gasp rippled through the assembly. The Admiral pressed a button, and a holographic display flickered to life behind him. It showed a vast array of unidentified spacecraft, their sleek designs unlike anything seen on Earth. "This," Chen continued, gesturing to the image, "is the Galactic Council's secret fleet. It has been hiding in plain sight, just beyond our solar system, for centuries." The room erupted into chaos. Shouts of disbelief and demands for explanations echoed off the walls. Admiral Chen stood stoically, waiting for order to be restored. When the clamor finally died down, he spoke again. "I understand your shock. I felt the same when I first saw this evidence, but I assure you, it's real. We've verified it through multiple channels." As Chen delved into the technical details of the discovery, the faces of the world leaders ranged from ashen with fear to flushed with anger. The President of the United States, her usual composure slipping, interrupted. "Admiral, how is it possible that we're only learning about this now?" Chen's expression hardened. "Madam President, the truth is, a select few have known for decades. The decision to keep it secret was made long before any of us were in power." This revelation sent another shockwave through the assembly. Accusations flew as leaders demanded to know who had been privy to this information. Admiral Chen raised his hands, calling for calm. "Pointing fingers won't help us now," he said firmly. "What matters is how we respond to this revelation. The Galactic Council has made contact. They're coming, and we need to be ready." As the meeting progressed, strategies were debated and emergency protocols were put into motion. But even as the world's most powerful individuals grappled with this new reality, the secret was already slipping through their fingers. In a small cubicle in the depths of the UN building, junior staffer Sarah Kim stared at her computer screen in disbelief. She had been tasked with transcribing the emergency meeting, but what she was hearing seemed impossible. With shaking hands, she pulled out her phone and sent a text to her brother, a journalist. "You won't believe what I'm hearing. Aliens are real, and they're coming. The government's known for years. Sarah hesitated for a moment before hitting send, knowing she was violating every security protocol. But the weight of the truth was too much to bear alone. As soon as the message was sent, she felt a mix of relief and dread wash over her. Within hours, the news had spread like wildfire. Social media exploded with speculation and panic. Hashtags like #AlienInvasion and #Galactic Council trended worldwide. News channels scrambled to cover the story, their anchors struggling to maintain composure as they relayed the earth-shattering news. In Times Square, crowds gathered around the massive screens, watching in stunned silence as shaky footage of the alleged alien fleet played on loop. A man in a shabby alien costume, usually ignored by passersby, suddenly found himself the center of attention as people pelted him with questions he couldn't possibly answer. As night fell, cities around the world saw a surge of activity. Some flocked to churches, synagogues, and mosques, seeking comfort in faith. Others raided supermarkets, preparing for the worst. In bars and living rooms, people huddled around televisions, hungry for any new information. Back at the UN, Admiral Chen emerged from the building, flanked by security. A sea of reporters surged forward, shouting questions. Chen raised his hands, calling for quiet. "People of Earth," he began, his voice carrying a weight that silenced the crowd. "Today, we face the greatest challenge in human history. Yes, the rumors are true. We have made contact with an alien civilization known as the Galactic Council." He paused, allowing the murmurs to subside before continuing. "I know you're scared. I know you have questions, but I ask you now to remain calm. We are taking all necessary precautions to ensure the safety of our planet." As Chen spoke, screens around the world broadcast his words. In a small apartment in Buenos Aires, a mother held her children close, trying to hide her own fear as she reassured them. In a Tokyo office, salarymen stood frozen, their eyes glued to the television. In a Nairobi market, vendors and shoppers alike clustered around a crackling radio. Chen's voice cracked slightly as he continued, "This is not the end. This is a new beginning for humanity. We stand on the brink of a new era, one that will challenge everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe." As he finished his statement, a strange light appeared in the sky behind him. Gasps rippled through the crowd as all eyes turned upward. A massive ship, unlike anything ever seen on Earth, slowly materialized above the New York skyline. Admiral Chen turned, his face a mask of determination. "It appears," he said, his voice steady despite the extraordinary circumstances, "that the future has arrived sooner than we expected." As the alien ship hovered silently over the city, the world held its breath. In living rooms and town squares, on mountaintops and in subway tunnels, humanity faced the dawn of a new age. Fear, excitement, and uncertainty mingled in the air as Earth prepared to meet its cosmic neighbors. The revelation was complete. There was no turning back now. In a cluttered apartment on the outskirts of Seattle, Jack Thompson sat in stunned silence, his eyes fixed on the flickering TV screen. The neon glow of his "The truth is out there" sign cast an eerie light across his face, highlighting the mix of shock and vindication in his expression. For years, Jack had been running a blog called Cosmic Conspiracies, where he shared his theories about alien life and government cover-ups. His posts, filled with sarcastic commentary and wild speculations, had earned him a small but devoted following of fellow conspiracy enthusiasts. Now, as Admiral Chen's press conference played on repeat, Jack felt a surreal sense of triumph. "Holy crap," he muttered, running a hand through his disheveled hair. "I was right. I was actually right." With trembling hands, he reached for his laptop and began to type. His fingers flew across the keyboard, pouring out a stream of consciousness that would become his most famous blog post. "Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all galactic origins," he began, his trademark sarcasm seeping through even in this momentous moment. "It appears that your favorite tinfoil hat-wearing lunatic isn't so crazy after all. The aliens are here, folks, and they've been watching us like some twisted cosmic reality show. As Jack continued to write, weaving humor with genuine insight, his phone began to buzz incessantly. Notifications poured in as his blog post went viral, shared by both longtime followers and newcomers seeking answers in this chaotic new world. Within hours, Jack found himself thrust into the spotlight. News channels clamored for interviews, social media influencers begged for collaborations, and his inbox overflowed with messages from people seeking his expert opinion. Sitting in a hastily arranged TV studio the next day, Jack fidgeted with his collar, unused to wearing anything more formal than a worn-out t-shirt. The makeup artist had tried her best to tame his unruly beard and add some color to his pale, computer screen-tanned face. "And we're live in 3, 2, 1, the producer called out. "Good evening, America," the anchor began. "We're here with Jack Thompson, a blogger who's been writing about alien conspiracies for years. Jack, what do you make of these recent revelations?" Jack took a deep breath, his usual sarcastic demeanor momentarily replaced by genuine emotion. "Well, Karen," he said, his voice slightly shaky, "I've spent my life being called crazy, being laughed at for believing in something bigger than us. And now," he paused, a wry smile playing on his lips, "now I guess I get to say, I told you so to the entire planet." His quip broke the tension, and even the serious-faced anchor couldn't suppress a chuckle. As the interview continued, Jack's unique blend of humor and insight captivated the audience. Social media exploded with clips of his responses, memes of his facial expressions, and quotes from his blog. In the days that followed, Jack's life transformed into a whirlwind of interviews, public appearances, and endless online interactions. His follower count skyrocketed, and cosmic conspiracies became the go-to source for speculation about the Galactic Council and their intentions. But as Jack's fame grew, so did the weight of his newfound responsibility. Late one night, as he sat staring at his computer screen, the gravity of the situation hit him like a ton of bricks. "What am I doing?" he whispered to himself, his face illuminated by the harsh blue light of the monitor. "I'm just a guy who wrote a blog. I don't have any real answers." The realization sent him into a spiral of self-doubt. He began to second-guess every post, every tweet, every public statement. The sarcastic facade that had been his shield for so long began to crack under the pressure of millions of people looking to him for guidance. In a moment of vulnerability, Jack decided to share his feelings with his followers. He opened his laptop and began to type. "Hey there, fellow Earthlings and potential alien overlords," he began, his fingers hesitating over the keys. "I've got a confession to make. I'm scared out of my mind. I've spent years joking about this moment, but now that it's here, I realize I'm just as lost as everyone else." As he poured out his fears and uncertainties, Jack felt a weight lifting off his shoulders. He hit post and waited, bracing himself for backlash. But instead, something unexpected happened. Messages of support flooded in. People from all walks of life reached out to share their own fears, their own doubts. Jack's honesty had struck a chord, reminding everyone that in this new, uncertain world, it was okay to be afraid. Inspired by the response, Jack decided to pivot his platform. Instead of just spouting theories, he began to create a space for open dialogue about humanity's place in the universe. He invited scientists, philosophers, and ordinary people to share their thoughts and feelings about the impending alien encounter. "Welcome to Cosmic Conversations," Jack said in his first live-streamed video under the new format, "where we try to figure out this whole not alone in the universe thing together. And hey, if any aliens are watching, feel free to call in. Our lines are open." As the days ticked down to the official first contact, Jack found himself at the forefront of a global movement. His humor helped ease tensions, while his willingness to admit his own uncertainty encouraged others to embrace the unknown with open minds. In a final blog post before the historic meeting, Jack wrote, "Tomorrow, we face the greatest moment in human history. We're about to meet our cosmic neighbors, and let's be honest, we're a mess. Our planet's a fixer-upper, our politics are a joke, and half of us still can't figure out how to use the self-checkout at the grocery store. But you know what? We're also pretty amazing. We've created art that can make you cry, music that can make you dance, and memes that can make you laugh until you snort coffee out your nose. We've explored the depths of our oceans and the far reaches of our solar system. We've loved, we've lost, we've persevered. So as we prepare to shake hands, or tentacles, or whatever they've got, with the Galactic Council, let's remember this. We are humanity. We're messy, we're complicated, and we're absolutely terrible at agreeing on anything. But we're also curious, resilient, and capable of incredible things. Whatever happens next, we're in this together. So keep your eyes on the stars, your mind open, and maybe, just maybe, pack some snacks. First impressions are important, and we don't want to meet our new alien friends on an empty stomach. See you on the other side, fellow Earthlings. It's been one hell of a ride. As Jack closed his laptop, he felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. Tomorrow, everything would change. But for now, he allowed himself a small, genuine smile. Whatever the future held, he was ready to face it, with a healthy dose of sarcasm. Of course. Ambassador Lu Mai stood at the base of the alien ship, her heart pounding beneath her impeccably tailored suit. The massive vessel loomed above her, its sleek surface reflecting the early morning sun. Despite the enormity of the moment, Lu's face remained a mask of calm, betraying none of the tumultuous emotions roiling within her. As the head of Earth's hastily assembled first contact team, Lu had been chosen for her unflappable demeanor and her extensive diplomatic experience. But nothing in her decades-long career had prepared her for this moment. "Are you ready, Madam Ambassador?" A voice crackled through her earpiece. It was Mission Control, sounding just as nervous as she felt. Lu took a deep breath, centering herself. "As ready as I'll ever be," she replied, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. With a soft hiss, a panel on the alien ship began to slide open. Lu watched, transfixed, as a ramp extended from the opening, touching down on Earth's soil with a gentle thud. The moment of truth had arrived. As Lu took her first step onto the ramp, she couldn't help but think of Neil Armstrong's famous words, "One small step for a diplomat." She murmured to herself, "One giant leap for humankind." The interior of the ship was a marvel of technology beyond human comprehension. Lights pulsed along the walls in mesmerizing patterns, and the air hummed with an energy that made the hairs on Lu's arms stand on end. She followed the illuminated path before her, each step carrying her further into the unknown. Finally, she emerged into what appeared to be a vast chamber. And there, waiting for her, were the representatives of the Galactic Council. Lu's diplomatic training kicked in, preventing her from gasping aloud. The beings before her defied all expectations. There were no little green men, no giant insects, no tentacled monstrosities. Instead, she found herself face to face with entities that seemed to be made of pure energy, their forms shifting and swirling like living auroras. "Welcome, Ambassador Lu Mi of Earth," a voice resonated in her mind, bypassing her ears entirely. "We are the collective, representatives of the Galactic Council." Lu bowed deeply, her mind racing to adapt to this unprecedented situation. "On behalf of humanity, I thank you for this opportunity," she said, her voice remarkably steady. "We are honored to make your acquaintance." As the initial formalities were exchanged, Lu found herself relaxing slightly. Despite their alien nature, there was something oddly familiar about the diplomatic dance. Questions were asked and answered, information was shared, and slowly a dialogue began to form. But as the conversation progressed, Lu sensed an undercurrent of tension. The collective seemed concerned. "Ambassador," the voice in her mind took on a grave tone, "we must discuss the reason for our presence here." Lu steeled herself. This was the moment she had been preparing for. "Of course," she replied. "We are eager to understand your intentions." What followed was a revelation that shook Lu to her core. The Galactic Council, it turned out, was not here for a simple meet and greet. They were here because humanity was on the brink of a discovery that could alter the fabric of the universe itself. "Your species is on the verge of unlocking the secrets of interdimensional travel," the collective explained. This knowledge, in the wrong hands, could destabilize the entire cosmos. Liu's mind reeled. Interdimensional travel. She made a mental note to have a long talk with Earth's scientific community when she returned. If she returned. "What are your intentions regarding this situation?" Liu asked, choosing her words carefully. The chamber fell silent for a moment, the swirling forms of the collective seeming to confer among themselves. Finally, the voice returned to Liu's mind. "We are here to offer humanity a choice," it said. "Join the Galactic Council, share your knowledge, and accept our guidance in using this power responsibly. Or, the unspoken alternative hung heavy in the air. Liu understood the implication all too well. If humanity refused, the consequences could be dire. As Liu prepared to respond, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. The collective's forms flickered erratically, their agitation palpable. "What's happening?" Liu asked, her calm facade finally cracking. "We are under attack," the voice in her mind replied, tinged with what Liu could only describe as surprise. "By your people." Liu's heart sank. Despite all the preparations, despite all the calls for unity, someone on Earth had decided to take matters into their own hands. In that moment, Ambassador Liu Mai realized that her job had just become infinitely more complex. She was no longer just a diplomat bridging the gap between two civilizations. She was now the thin line standing between humanity and potential cosmic annihilation. "Please," she said, her voice filled with urgency, "allow me to contact my superiors. This attack does not represent the will of humanity. Give us a chance to make this right." The collective seemed to consider her words. The alarms continued to blare, adding to the tension that filled the chamber. "Very well, Ambassador," the voice finally responded. "But know this, the choice before humanity has not changed. It has only become more urgent." As Liu was escorted to a communication terminal, her mind raced. How could she convince her own people to stand down? How could she persuade the Galactic Council to give humanity another chance? And most importantly, how could she ensure that this first contact didn't become humanity's last? The fate of Earth now rested on her shoulders. As she prepared to address her superiors, Liu took a deep breath, drawing on every ounce of her diplomatic experience. She had started this day prepared to make history. Now, she realized, she might have to save it. The screen before her flickered to life, showing the anxious faces of world leaders waiting for her report. Liu straightened her back, pushed aside her fear, and began to speak. The next few moments would determine the future of humanity. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady despite the chaos around her, "we stand at a crossroads. The choice we make today will echo through eternity. Listen carefully, for the future of our species hangs in the balance." The world held its breath for 3 days as Ambassador Liu Mai negotiated humanity's future aboard the alien vessel. When she finally emerged, descending the ramp with measured steps, the circles under her eyes and the slight tremor in her hand spoke volumes about the weight of her experience. As news spread of the agreement reached with the Galactic Council, humanity found itself divided. Some embraced the change with hope, seeing it as an unprecedented opportunity for growth and advancement. Others resisted, fear of the unknown driving them to cling desperately to the familiar. In the weeks that followed, the world transformed at a dizzying pace. The skies, once empty save for the occasional airplane, now teemed with alien ships. Scientists from Earth collaborated with their extraterrestrial counterparts, making leaps in technology that would have once seemed impossible. Zara Rodriguez, the young astronomer who had first detected the alien signal, found herself at the forefront of this scientific revolution. Her days were filled with mind-bending discoveries and nights with dreams of distant stars. Yet, as she gazed through her telescope at the now bustling space around Earth, a part of her mourned the loss of the mystery that had once filled the night sky. "It's incredible," she murmured to a colleague one evening, her eyes fixed on a passing alien cruiser. "But sometimes I miss the days when we could look up and wonder if we were alone." Her colleague, an enthusiastic young physicist named Alex, grinned widely. "But Zara, think of all we've gained. We're on the brink of unlocking the secrets of the universe itself." Zara nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "You're right, of course. It's just different." Meanwhile, Jack Thompson, the once ridiculed conspiracy theorist turned global sensation, grappled with his new reality. His blog, Cosmic Conversations, had become a vital platform for dialogue between humans and their new alien neighbors. One particularly memorable post read, "Folks, remember when finding Bigfoot was the holy grail of conspiracy theories? Well, turns out we were thinking too small. Way too small. Like galactically too small. But hey, at least now when I talk to myself, I can pretend I'm practicing interspecies communication." Despite his jovial online persona, Jack often found himself overwhelmed by the responsibility thrust upon him. Late one night, as he sat staring at his computer screen, he whispered to himself, "I used to search for the truth. Now I'm drowning in it." Admiral Chen Wei, the man who had revealed the existence of the alien fleet to the world, now headed Earth's new interstellar defense force. His days were filled with briefings on cosmic threats he could barely comprehend and diplomatic meetings with beings he never imagined he'd encounter. As he stood on the bridge of humanity's first faster-than-light capable ship, a joint human-alien construction, Chen couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and trepidation. "We've come so far," he mused, watching Earth shrink in the viewscreen as they prepared for their maiden voyage. But at what cost? His second-in-command, a young lieutenant with stars in her eyes, overheard him. "Sir," she said, her voice filled with conviction, "we've gained the universe." Chen nodded, a rare smile crossing his face. "Indeed we have, Lieutenant. Indeed we have." Back on Earth, Ambassador Lu Mai found herself busier than ever. As the primary liaison between Earth and the Galactic Council, she spent her days navigating a political landscape that now spanned multiple solar systems. During a rare moment of respite, Liu stood at the window of her office, looking out over a New York City skyline now dotted with alien architecture. "When I was a little girl," she said to her assistant, "I dreamed of bringing people together. I never imagined it would be on this scale." Her assistant, a young man still in awe of their new reality, asked, "Do you ever regret it, Madam Ambassador, agreeing to join the Galactic Council?" Liu turned from the window, her face serious. "Regret? No. The path we've chosen is difficult, filled with challenges we're only beginning to understand. But it was the only way to ensure our survival and growth as a species." She paused, a wry smile touching her lips. "Though I do miss the days when the most complicated diplomatic issue was trade agreements. As humanity adjusted to its new place in the cosmic order, not everyone embraced the change. Protest movements sprang up, calling for a return to Earth for humans. Conspiracy theories proliferated, some claiming that the entire alien encounter was an elaborate hoax orchestrated by world governments. Jack Thompson found himself in the unique position of debunking conspiracy theories, a far cry from his former life. "Listen up, Tinfoil Hat Brigade," he wrote in a viral post. "I know it's hard to believe, but sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. Trust me, I've been to their mothership. It's real, it's spectacular, and their bathroom technology is going to blow your mind." Yet despite the challenges, signs of hope emerged. Children born after the first contact grew up in a world where interstellar travel was commonplace and alien languages were taught alongside French and Mandarin in schools. Art and culture flourished as humanity grappled with its new place in the universe, producing works that resonated across the galaxy. 5 years to the day after Zara Rodriguez first detected the alien signal, Earth hosted the first Galactic Council Summit. As representatives from 1,000 worlds converged on New York City, the streets filled with a cacophony of languages and a riot of alien forms. Standing on the stage before this unprecedented gathering, Ambassador Liu Mai felt the weight of history on her shoulders. Zara, Jack, and Admiral Chen sat in the front row, each a symbol of humanity's journey to this moment. Distinguished delegates, Liu began, her voice carrying across the hushed auditorium. 5 years ago, we stood at a crossroads. We faced a choice between isolation and engagement, between fear and hope. We chose hope. She paused, looking out over the sea of faces, human and alien alike. The road has not been easy. We have stumbled. We have doubted. But we have also grown in ways we never thought possible. Today, as we stand united with our galactic neighbors, I am proud to say that humanity has found its place among the stars. As applause filled the chamber, Zara leaned over to Jack. "So," she whispered, a mischievous glint in her eye, "still think the truth is out there?" Jack grinned, gesturing at the assembled alien delegates. "Oh, it's out there all right," he replied. "And it's even weirder than I imagined." Admiral Chen, overhearing their exchange, added softly, "The question is, are we ready for it?" As they turned their attention back to Liu's speech, the three of them, the astronomer, the blogger, and the soldier, shared a moment of understanding. They had played their parts in reshaping humanity's destiny. Now they could only watch and wonder as the next chapter of Earth's cosmic adventure unfolded before them. In the sky above, stars twinkled alongside the lights of passing spaceships, a constant reminder that the universe was vast, mysterious, and now within reach.